Well, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you out there. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Yeah, I know, it's Monday. There isn't any cute sayings from Monday other than, yeah, it's Monday. But welcome in. Hope you can turn those frowns into smiles. Just flip them upside down and you got a smile. Yeah, I know. It didn't work for me. Hope it might work for you all. But anyway, welcome in another great week. God bless you all for being here. I hope you all are ready. Y'all didn't know this, but in the background, I was actually uh, looking to fire up a different flight today. Um, but instead, chose this one. Um, which is going to be Santa Maria in the Azores. We flew in there, I believe it was last week, if not last week, the week before, and from Lisbon. But today we're going to leave Santa Maria in the Azores. It's actually part of Portugal, which I did not know, and head back to Portugal. Except this time we're going to Porto, the northern end of Portugal. Ah, you like how I did that? Portugal. So hang on just a second. All right, I thought something was up behind me. Sorry for that. But yeah, we're going to head to Porto, Portugal, up north. Should be a fun run, about a 2 hour flight. And we're kind of already in the process of getting the plane ready. We actually could have gone nearly a half hour earlier, but chose to get some little things done to try to, uh, just to try to enjoy the flight more. All right, because we are going to be flying over a lot of water between the Azores and the mainland of Europe. All right, we are in the A320NEO. Yes, this time verified. We have the Pratt & Whitney NEOs on board. So we have an A320-271 with the Pratts on. You can tell from here because of the green inside, but you can kind of get a feel they're a bit bigger, which is weird. You would think a bigger engine, yeah, you car guys know this, bigger engines mean more gas. Not in the aviation world. That or it's one of the best kept secrets that they gobble more gas. I don't know. So, but yeah, they're supposedly more efficient. So I'll be honest, not an aircraft engineer. Would have loved to have been one. Had I hunkered down in school and actually cared back then what today shows, I would have loved to have been an aeronautical engineer. So, and then I could have learned how this engine is more efficient than its smaller cousins, the CEOs. And they're not the CEO of the corporation of Airbus, conventional engines versus the new engine option. All right. Anyway, enough fun. We are sitting on the tarmac, spot 4 here in I was going to call it LPAZ. My bad. Lima Papa Alpha Zulu for the ICAO call, but it's actually Santa Maria Airport in the Azores. Now, as far as I can tell, there are no real world flights that fly between Santa Maria and Porto. Pretty much just to Lisbon. Um, I think lodges or maybe one of the others would possibly go there. All right, possibly, sorry. And you know, it's always funny. You go, I say this all the time. You go on, as soon as you turn the go live button, start streaming button, the yawns start up, the hiccups start up. Up until then, perfect. Who knows? Who knows what the good Lord has in store there? But, you know, that's one of those mysteries. If we remember or even care when we get into heaven, we can ask. But like I said, we'll have probably more pressing matters of being when we get to heaven in front of Jesus than why is it when I go live, I yawn and hiccup a lot more? Or some of the other questions we all say, well, ask that on the other side of eternity. More than likely, one will either have forgotten or two realize we got a lot more important things to enjoy than those earthly things. So, anyway, let's get going, shall we? So we have the air stairs up, and yes, we got the caterers. This is where, believe it or not, Azores. Well, I can't say that. I think this is just a hub for Azores Airlines, but I'm going to tell you, I really love this particular livery for the big letters Inspire. Love that. Now, of course, it probably means something in a different language, but to me, that is outstanding. Inspire. I hope this flight inspires you to go fly with Mike or go fly with yourself. You know, hey, have a ball. Get up there, get on VATSIM, enjoy, have fun, relax. You know, that's what this is all about. Relax. Not only for you all who you're in Europe now coming home, need to unwind, but for us in the US also, well, because work's cranking up for us. So, you know, I hope it inspires you to you know, to relax, enjoy. For me, I enjoy these flights. They are so much fun. So I hope it inspires you to go. And I don't care what sim you use. I feel X-Plane 12 is a better one, but you know, it's to each their own in what they think. All right, so let's get up in that cockpit and do some damage. I mean, do some flying. We haven't had good luck here of late with the A321NEO in landings. Well, actually, to my defense, that wasn't a NEO last flight into here. It was a CO, but it shouldn't matter. Okay, so we're in the cockpit here of the A320. So far, we have gotten the route loaded. We have everything else pre-flighted except for, and we're going to do that right now, crank up the APU. Yes, we have been fueled. And yes, we will go over our flight plan here in a minute as soon as we crank up that APU so we can start boarding the peoples that want to go back to Portugal. Oh, wait, we're in Portugal. What? You guys got me all confused. Auto closed the door. I don't want to get more confused. All right, flaps open, APU starting. All righty. Okay, so we have ADIRs set in nav. We have the cruise supply on. We have, oh, we could do this. CVR test. Okay, just waiting on the EPU to crank up and then we'll do the test. Should have done it before cranking it, but you get the drift. There we go, and bleeds on. We're going to just leave the APU fire check alone. Strobe lights are in auto, nav logo number 2. APU running, seatbelts right now off. We'll turn those on here before we pull out. Since we're on the APU, we can turn the external power off. Come over here. Go to the ISCS ground and disconnect. I will tell you this much. I highly recommend, I don't care which plane you're in, disconnect the external power in the cockpit first, usually found on an overhead panel, maybe on the panel next to you, but get that, make sure it's turned off first. In the 747, when you engage the APU generator, it already automatically disconnected the ground power. But always make sure. Then come over and disconnect. Because if you do it in the, I can tell you for sure, the 767 will go dark, even if you're on the APU generator, and the MD-11. And if that's not bad enough, it might wipe out your McDo or your FMC. Which means all that hard work you just did, you got to do it again. While I'm here, I'm going to say Sayonara to our, you know, I could have just put that in auto. Don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to go take a look. Make sure it doesn't come back at us. But I will say this, for eye candy, I give Toliss pretty high marks. Where they fall short in the eye candy is, well, there's no drivers. So when they drive through buildings and through other AI-generated air vehicles or aircraft, well, that's part of the reason. Now, X-Plane 12, on the other hand, did put bodies in the seats for that AI traffic. However, I don't think they have eyeballs because they too hit everything on the ramp. So it is kind of funny. It's always been that way in the flight sim world. Yeah, it just is what, you know, we'll just say it. It is what it is. So, all right. So we got those guys away. Ground power's off. Let's get back down here and finish up with the McDo's. All right. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead, bring in some toolkit. This would be a good time to quickly brief up the flight, give you an idea of the 2-hour flight we have ahead of us. All right, so you can see where we're starting. Over here on the left, VSM, that is Santa Maria Airport. We're going to track across a little bit of the Atlantic over to Portugal, which, by the way, we're kind of in Portugal over here. It's too complicated. Anyway, but today's loadout, 50,380 pounds. You know, it's funny. I fly the A330-900. I rarely get loads this heavy. But I fly the A321NEO or CO, and they pack them. Go figure. I don't get it. But it is, you know, again, what it's going to be. 22,000 pounds. We actually have 23,000 that we loaded for a little extra measure. 229 people. And taking off runway 36 here, landing runway 35 there. And in between here is our route. And if you're on Twitch, you will be able to see it in the chat here momentarily. All right, now, game plan today. We're going to fly flight level 350 out. You know, we're just going to climb for it. Cost index 46. LPAZ will drop to 34, maybe. Depends if we have center and they tell us to. We'll see how that works out. Weather-wise, it's actually beautiful, I believe, in both places. cooler of all things here in the tropics. I don't know if you can call the Azores the tropics or not, but anyway, just a beautiful day here. A little breezy, winds 030 at 13, and they're swinging around quite a bit, 350 to 060, but on average about 030, they're saying. Unlimited visibility and a few clouds to pester us through 12,000, or through 20,000, sorry. Over on the mainland in Porto. All right, we got a wind at 2506, and at 2 is swinging about 100 degrees, 200 to 300. So, you know, split the difference. That's what they're showing. However, that should favor 17, but yet they won 35. And they do have an ATIS, or at least I thought they did. Huh, wonder what happened to it. KVOC, meaning it's clear visibility okay from inside the office. Yeah, it's always clear and visibility okay in there, unless, well, we're not going to go down that route. Temperature in the Azores, just shy of 79 degrees. In Porto, it's 84 degrees, so a little bit on the warm side. Not much, but it is. You got a nice breeze to help, so hopefully have a pretty good day. Evening, I should say. All right, we are on VATSIM already. Like I said, parked in spot 4, and we are ready to finale the McDo and push back. I'm sorry, pull forward. Yeah, this is we pull out in this spot, so. All right, so let's get over here. Now, one nice thing, let's look at the weight and balance again so you all get a feel. We said 23,000 on the fuel. We got the payload's pretty close. It's about 100 pounds off. So that could be anything from a weight, you know, just different weights that I'm using versus the aircraft. And one of these days, maybe I'll figure it out. Okay, now, looking at it, oh, well, you know, we could have, but it decided to go to the AvTab page. Come back. There we go. Let's go to the takeoff performance page and be done with it. All right, so you can see runway 36 is our departing runway here in a minute. There we go. Let me close that, open that. All right, weather, let's see. I get why Toliss doesn't give us the METAR this is coming off of, because I want to say it might be what it's reading right now in X-Plane. I click reset, it'll change, I think. And I'm only speculating, because with the landing performance, we get whatever METAR is usually current to within 10 or 15 minutes, and then it'll update if they just did. So I kind of wish we could, but I get it. So 052 at 10, 26 degrees, actually 27 now. So you know what? We're going to bump it. 30, 36. We'll have to do the translation. Yep, that's still good. Anti-ice. Yeah, we're not going to need it for today. And we'll need the air conditioning. All right, so we have a 10,000 foot runway. We're only 200 feet above sea level-ish. So density altitude wise, we should be able to flex out of here. Okay, we may have to go flex 2. I'm a little better with that. And we may have to alter V1 just to give us even a little more. But if we go at 147, theoretically, we'll have about a quarter of the runway remaining, theoretically. More than likely, we'll be airborne long, you know, in about this area. Okay. So yeah, we'll go with these numbers. Let's do a quick rad nav over here. Looks good. Perf. Uplink. Okay, we can't change the temperature, but we can make sure we're good. We're good. Okay, on the barometric. we'll go 052 diagonal 10. Now, one thing I do here is put flaps 2, mainly to just get the calculations close, but don't worry about flex yet. Click request. It'll come up here in a second when it tells you requesting or something like that. Takeoff data uplink, and we'll go received, clear. And now, if we would go TOGA, these are the numbers we'd have. We could actually compute it and you could see it here. Or we can now click flex takeoff. And yeah, because their temperature's a little cooler than ours, they bumped up the speeds a little more than us. But everything else remains comparatively the same. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to black boxes. Where are you? There you are. Site and see if he has this airport. I would assume he does, but and that's what you get for assuming. He does not. That's fine. Why I go to Blackbox's website, most European, there's a few, we just found one, he hasn't either been to or hasn't computed, where you'll get different numbers. And what numbers are we talking about? That's your threshold reduction and acceleration altitudes along with the engine out. So, and he'll give you better numbers. We'll go with the transition at 4,000. Okay, I think these numbers actually do pair pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with it. All right. And that, folks, means we are just about done. All we got is the middle panel here to work on. Okay, LS and constraints. I mirror it on the other side. Arc 40, actually we're going to go 20. Arc 40 here. VOR, 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 and then make sure we have dots for speed and heading. That just means we're gonna, as when we engage the autopilot, little uniqueness here. I didn't know about this. It was an interesting little docu video I watched on YouTube. Truth or fiction, I'll never know because I'll never sit in here and get the chance to fly it. But at 100 feet, Airbus can engage the autopilot. 800 feet to 1,000, depending on the aircraft, is when Boeing, they want the pilots to fly it longer. Not to say Airbus pilots won't fly it longer without the autopilot, but when visibilities are poof, gone, and stuff like that, Airbus could engage right after, pretty much right after takeoff. You're going to be at 100 feet pretty quick, and then engage. Where Boeing, they're going to have to wait to get across the 400 to the 800 to 1,000 foot mark before they can engage. I just found that interesting. Whether it's true, I have no idea. But for us, we're going to 39 or 35, wasn't it? 35,000. Now, the cool thing is, built in to the McDo's, and if you flew the 737 next gen aircraft, built into their flight management systems, the constraints should hold the plane there and then push on after you cross it. Should. As a pilot in command, you should be following it. Hang on a second, we're going to go ahead. All right, sorry about that. I'm getting rid of the back passenger door and everything on the flight engineer side. So that way we're ready to go here. All right, so again, the dot means managed by the system. So if you have constraints, it will meet them. By turning CSTR on here, you'll see them as you come along your nav displays. Okay. Oh, my nose. My nose does not know what it doesn't know. All right, so let's finish this up with this one on flight plan. This one stays on performance. Cockpit lights, we're ready for startup. Are you? Actually, I'm not 100% ready. Let's get ACARS fired up. By the way, first full week of August, that means the little kiddies go back to school. Yeah, I can order. Hey, easy with the lettuce and the tomatoes, unless you're going to make me a BLT. All right, let me put that in. This one's weird for Mac Air, and I don't know why it had to be this way, but it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. And for those of you with Mac Air, I would love to hear from you. What do you think of this month's destination of the month? Thunder Bay. Not Thunder over Louisiana or Thunder over Louisville. Thunder Bay Airport, Ontario, Canada. Good choice. I think I've only flown in there twice, but I pretty sure it's a neat little airport. Uh-oh. Why is my bid not found? What? That's why. You know, Captain, you gotta fill in the blanks. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't fill in anything to give us a flight. Now, the good thing is I can actually tell it where we're going. It can tell me where to go at the same time. And boom. Standby. Sorry, I knew it was a telemarketer. I just, hang on. What is it doing? I think I've confused it. How did I get so many? There we go. Like, oh, I see what it did. Okay, that was my bad. No, I had a telemarketer on the call. And, no, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to air anything. I know they have a job to do. But, yeah, they're just now doing what they said. That's not a good roofing company to be with. Okay, and there we are. We are on Mac Air. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure ACARS was ready. Okay, I'm ready. Let's get this going, and we're 3 minutes late. Okay, APU, TCAS, everything looks good. Close up the front door. As people love to say, shut the front door. Literally, we are. All right, we'll let that little scooter get away here real quick, and then we're out of here. All right, so as you can see, everything's away. You know, one other thing, if Toliss is really wanting to do this, and I'll have to look when we get to our desk, I don't think they put anything out like a generator or anything when you have external power. I could be totally wrong, so please don't quote me on that. But the only thing we have left to do are chocks, which we'll do here in a minute. We're just going to verify parking brake. Okay, we've got that set. And we're ready to fire up. So I am going to go ahead, kick those away. Yeah, I know. People can tell me you could do that from that same page. Yeah, I know. I hate this part about. Let me try with my sunglasses. I think it's on. Okay, we'll find out. All right. Let's do it. Starting time. Startup. Cockpit lighting as required. I think we're okay. Beacon lights on. Little higher. There we go. Fuel pumps. Let's make sure those pumps are on. Okay, and we're not pushing back. Engine mode to start. Okay, we're set to go. All right, we got a good light off on number 2. As soon as we get a veil on it, we can then begin starting up number 1. Okay, it's just not gonna play nice. Okay. All right, we're avail, so let's start the timer and let's get this plane going. Okay, after the start, let's go to normal. Okay. Auto brake max. Flaps set. Oh, we need to set the flaps in the configuration. We got them to flaps 2. Oops. Okay. Trim is down 1. Okay, and while we're here, some checklists will have this before takeoff. I just find it since I've got the page up right now. Let's get this done. Okay, everything's free and centers. Okay, so signs. Oh, yeah. Party's over back there. Okay, APU's off and transponder to exponder. I think I'm already there. I am. And cockpit doors locked. Trim centered. And we'll center it again just because we've been having that kind of luck. Flight controls checked. Taxi clearance obtained. Let's boogly woogly. Brakes off. I guess theoretically they could put a plane in front of us because they do call it 4A. But I look at it, let's just go, unless they have those concrete medians, to prevent you from going into lane ahead of you. Let's just go ahead, pull through. Save a little wear and tear on the aeroplane. Oh, it looks like we have a, oh, wait, we would want, okay, hang on, I got to figure this out. We're going to want to go this way if we want to not have to back taxi. Well, we can always try this one time and see what happens. Little tiptoe through the tulips here. Don't really know how realistic this taxi is. According to the chart, it is a taxiway. Non-lettered, but a taxiway nonetheless. Ooh, what's down here? Ah, fire training ground. A great place for a taxiway. It's not marked X on my chart. That's why we went this way. Nice rendition, though. Yeah, this firefighters is what a real plane looks like. That was fun. We may have to come back here and try the other way. I wonder if 1.8 is kind of the desired takeoff. All right, let's get some radars on. Why don't we? Okay, before takeoff, weather radars, PWS, both set. Rudder trim reset, transponder Terra, elevator trim set for takeoff, terrain radar on takeoff briefing. Real quick, we're going to take off runway heading to 3 miles from VATSIM. Then we're going to right turn 061 to 3,100 feet, then track to intercept 064 out of Beacon. All right, that's our takeoff brief. Here we go. V speeds for today, 149, 149, 152. Here we go. Nobody on final. This is not a timed departure, so I'm just going to leave my clock going. Go to 50%. Santa Maria traffic, Azores 99, departing 36, Beacon 5 departure. Easy, girl. Whoa. There's 80 knots. $120. Rotate. Be careful rolling that tail up too, because it's a lot longer than most are used to. There's 100 feet, by the way. And Otto, you have it. Gears up. There's the 3-mile point, and we're headed out. Thrust climb set. And there's 3,100 feet, turning back on course, and just about to get on course to our first fix, which is Beacon. Now, the reason I would have liked to have done the other one, you go out 1-8, you turn to the right, and you just basically cut through the island here. I think that would have been fun. All right, we're coming up on 10,000. 10,000 it is. All right, so we're through 13,000 and cruise climb. We'll be cruise climbing to 35,000. Hope you enjoyed that departure out of Santa Maria. Pretty sure that's probably not the way to taxi to runway 36, but it was fun. We took the scenic route, so to speak. So they said it was a shortcut, but it was fun. Get to go through the fire grounds. Hey, you know what? Liven them up a little bit. Hey, hey, what's this big jet doing? Got to keep them on their toes. That was pretty cool, though. That was pretty authentic looking trainer there, mock-up for aircraft firefighting. So kudos to the person or persons at Laminar that designed that, because this is default, folks. There is no add-on scenery here to Santa Maria nor Porto. I fly pretty much bare bone X-Plane 12 minus the add-on aircraft. Now, scenery that I do is only because I frequent those airports a little bit more than I do a lot of the others. A lot of the others, this may be the only time into Santa Maria. So same, Porto will be out one more time, at least. Lisbon, maybe another time. So I may look into some scenery over here. Frankfurt, probably I'm going to begin looking at something because I got a feeling I'm going to be in and out of that place quite a bit, along with London. Anything that can kind of help me on frame rates is what I'm going to be looking for. Doesn't help, they're two of the busiest airports in the world next to Atlanta. And Atlanta seems to do pretty good. So I'm going to see if Nimbus has anything for over here. I know they just did something with O'Hare or about to. So try and get in there and see what's up. Otherwise, we are on our way. We're about 2 hours at this altitude of 18,000 to Portugal. Porto, Portugal. What a way to name a town. So enjoy the flight. We'll get some in-flight entertainment going here with some music, and just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy your day. All right, folks, and I will be right back. We do have our 4-year-old granddaughter over for the next day or two, and you need to spend just a couple of minutes seeing what's going on for the rest of the day. I'll be right back. Enjoy the music, enjoy the flight. Welcome aboard Azores 99, headed to Porto, Portugal. Okay, I'm back. Got my marching orders for the afternoon. Um, I hope we all enjoy. We got about an hour, 45 minutes or so to Porto, and enjoy the music. I'm just going to kind of sit here and be a little quiet and let you all enjoy the day. Hopefully your Mondays have been pretty decent. We just had a pretty good fair over the weekend here, Carnival, some call it, and things are getting back to normal as the school year. Now, trying to explain why we call this homecoming, and yet technically there'll be another one in the school year, you know, the infamous homecoming where the football game and other games throughout some high schools go on. Yeah, we have two. So they try to do the alumni's, the 10, the 20, the 30, the big reunions now, and then leave homecoming for the homecoming week at the high school. Confusing? Oh, by all means. But that's how the town I live in rolls, I guess. I'll be honest, I never really got it, but then again, I wasn't here a lot. I was on the road when my daughters were in school or working out at the airport, so I didn't get to see or experience a lot of it, so that might help in my problem also of understanding why we have two homecomings here. So, but anyway, it was fun. We had a great, it's one of the longest parades in the region that most bands will march. I know when I was in marching band, we didn't do Mascoutah. Well, there's a lot of reasons we didn't do Mascoutah, but we did some pretty long ones in St. Louis and one up in Springfield, Illinois. That was pretty long. The reason we didn't do them back then is, well, it was a pretty heated rivalry between the high school I went to in high school for 2 years and Mascoutah's high school. Very, very violent sometimes. It was a rivalry that I have never seen. I saw a glimpse of it at the next high school I went to when we moved away in my sophomore to junior year. Uh, Not to the level the O'Fallon Mascoutah one was back then. So, wow. Enough so that they had to have police on the running track midway so you couldn't cross over and cause fights and other mayhem to erupt. Oh, yeah. Now, today, they changed divisions, which means that rivalry and the ferocity of it is no more. But wow, that's why we never marched in it. Or it wasn't to the level that it is today, too. That's always a possibility, too. That's a long time ago. All right, I'm talking too much, so you all enjoy the flight, enjoy the ride. We got about an hour and 40-ish minutes to go to Porto, Portugal, in the A320 or 321 Neo from Toliss. All right, folks, we've just been cruising along at 35,000 feet. Looking still at about an ETE or A. Ah. Uh-oh. Did it hose up? I think it did. All right, well, let's see. About an hour and 11 minutes out. But welcome in. Hope y'all are having a great Monday. For those of you in Europe, where we're headed to, hope your evening is going well. And for those in the States, I hope your Monday is doing quite nicely. All right, and it looks like Sim Toolkit decided to give us a little fit, so we're going to restart it and see what happens. But we're flying, as you can tell, from Santa Maria in the Azores over to Porto, Portugal. But technically, the Azores are under the Portuguese, so which I did not know until I flew this flight. I thought they were kind of their own. So, all right, let's try this again. See what kind of weather we're dealing with there in Porto. 260 at 4 on the winds, and KVOC. Now just realize, like in the United States, most weather offices rarely stick their head out the window to actually tell you, oh, anything, because it's clear and visibility okay in their office. Unless something else is going on, we're going to leave it there in the office. So anyway, we're cruising ahead to Porto. Again, about an hour and 40, no, not 40, 15 minutes, was it? Yeah, about an hour and 10 to 15 minutes out. Planning runway 35 for those trying to figure out in the bulletin where we are. Yeah, we'll be aiming for runway 35. At which airport? Well, it's wherever the wheels touch down. I really love this livery. This one in particular from the Azores. Love the words they have on the side of their planes. Just I'd almost like to fly this everywhere. Um, and if you can't read what's on the top of the fuselage, the feeling when you visit Azores. I love it. I love it. Really cool. Hope you get the same feeling when you come here with Flying with Mike as well. So, Portugal's about an hour and 15 or so minutes out, and hope you enjoy the flight. Not a lot to get to look at here. We're flying over the open ocean here between the Azores and the mainland of Europe, Portugal to be specific. And yeah, just going to be a lot of water. Maybe some clouds dotted out there like you see. But overall, what you see is what you get all the way across. And it looks that way all the way in. The weather in Porto looks pretty good. Some scattered clouds from 25 down, but just a beautiful day. Going to be landing on 3-5, flying the RNIP approach in. Hopefully we'll do better than we did into Santa Maria a week or two ago. So enjoy the ride. Just trying to figure out what I was clicking on. Clicking the wrong number 4. All right, as you all saw earlier, I was trying to figure out what the number 4 key on the keyboard does. Something that said with drams. I think it worked the spoilers too, because they were up. But anyway, it's something to do with drams, and we don't have that on this aircraft. So, it's pretty interesting to read. It's a digital radio management system. Yeah, this aircraft doesn't have. Well, it does, but it doesn't. Or it's an option I might be able to turn on. And if so, I really like it in the A330. I think it's really cool. All right, let y'all get back to your unwinding and listening into the music as we cruise in. According to the guesstimates on the aircraft, we are 418 miles out, 106 from top of descent. That does not seem right. Oh, our step is 103 miles out. Okay. Got it. We're under an hour now to our destination of Porto. We do have another pilot following us off one of the other islands of the Azores, taking a little different route than we did. We'll see who gets there first. And I will be right back. And that is a trying to think who Tom. I know the airline, but I can't. It's like on the tip of my tongue. But they're headed to Tenerife as we head on to Porto, Portugal. All right, we're going to go ahead, drop to 34. And I really don't know why this step climb is required, or step descent. I really don't. So anyone out there want to clue me in? I'd love to know. But yeah, for some reason, SimBrief said we had to come down to 34. So that is what we're doing by Empress. Sorry. And all right, and we'll just continue on. We got about another 45 minutes or so to Porto. Give it a little bit more for the descent and all, but yeah, we're close, folks, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, folks. Sorry about that. My 4-year-old granddaughter and wife are heading out, and just wanted to wish them well. They'll be back shortly. But anyway, we are. I wonder how far from top of climb. Top of descent is 144 miles. We did our step descent. Okay. Well, Jared, DOT.dev, welcome and thanks for the follow. We sure appreciate you coming aboard. We got about 140 miles or so to the airport there in Portugal, Porto, and hope you enjoyed. Thanks for the follow. And by the way, with that follow, if you are new to the channel, hey, if you're on Twitch, hit that follow button. That way you'll know when we go live next time. And if you're on YouTube, albeit we're not live on YouTube. There's a lot of questions still boiling about in my mind about that. About dual streaming and streaming live on YouTube and all. But we do post videos regularly to YouTube. If you are catching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button if you would, please. That's free as well. And if you like it, thumbs up. We'd love to see it. And thank you again, Jared.dev. Hello. The next couple of flights we have planned, what's my background? With regards to aviation, I have been pretty much within the realm of aviation probably since about 1982-83 time frame. Got a private pilot's license back then, built up some fly time, but because of the cost and pretty much a teenager moving into young adult, we all know how lives go then. And I had also joined the Air National Guard in the state I was in, Ohio, and things were just, well, a young adult, you know, it's just so confusing and all. To help try to settle me into a course, I went into the Air Force as a firefighter. Aviation is, like I said, we're on the ramp. We had a couple of big incidents with the base I was at. But I got out in 1990 before Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And it just, you know, life just kept going. Went in, started driving a truck because firefighting, it was a whole different political landscape at that point. And I'm going to leave it there because in my mind it was ugly. But I'll leave it as it was a political landmine going on then. So I drove a truck for about 10 years. Came back into the airport firefighting at an airport, the same airport I served in the Air Force, except civilian side, where commercial airliners went in. So I've been around this. I've been in the flight sim world since about 1999, 2000, and flown most of those right on up, except for the latest Microsoft stuff. I gave up on Microsoft with FSX. Sorry. Just gave up on them. I don't like the philosophy of Microsoft, and I'm glad I'm in X-Plane. Great world, great flight dynamics. And boy, are they improving with every single update. So hope that kind of did it in the last 5 minutes. So yeah, I've been right now, I'm kind of getting into those latter years, and I'm kind of like a janitor, kind of All right. Reading here from Jared.dev, similar. Got a private pilot's license last year. Congratulations. Trying to knock out his instrument check next month. Outstanding. And a boom operator. Oh, nice. Working on, was it take it KC-135s, or were you lucky enough to draw KC-10? 135. Yeah, kind of. I don't think many 10s went that way. But no, I have not tried Pilot's Edge. The big reason being what I've listened to, when what they do on Pilot's Edge happens on VATSIM, I find it, I'm trying to think how to say it very nicely. I just don't like one controller controlling 9 different ARTCs. And they try that here, and it just fails abysmally. It's just way too much traffic and overwhelming to the controllers, which then backlashes on the pilots. And that and the fact you got to pay for it, that also doesn't sit well with me. So, but, you know, to each their own. But yeah, interesting 135s. Yeah, we got a group of them on the military side of where I worked out of that were at Chicago at one time. Now they're here. Hence why our runway got built on our side. Okay, let me sneak a peek. All right, we're close enough. Let's get things started, setting up for the landing. Porto's tower is up. We'll see if anything else comes up. We're planning, let's see here. Hang on. Looked like somebody flew pretty close to us. Weather. We're looking at 1800. Okay, so it's a half hour old. So we'll work off the 1800 Zulu weather, 260 at 3, KVOC 28. And okay, still the same. All right, let me take a look at our airport. Yeah, note to self, don't get off where we did last time here. Crossed over the X's on a taxiway. They didn't like me for that. All right, we'll go that way. Yeah, we'll run. Yeah, we'll just keep it. So we're looking at the requirement of 5,100 feet. Could go as far as 8,600 feet or 8,300. Perfect. That'll work out perfect for Fox 1, I think it is. Yeah, exiting at Fox 1. Perfect. Worst case, Echo 5 or Golf. Okay. All right, let's kind of zoom out and 79 miles to go. Let's set up. QNH was 1018. temperature 28. And our wind one more time, 260, diagonal 3. All right, this is an RNIP approach, so I don't expect 200. Let's see, we're category C, or performance level C, 303. All right, we got all that set up. Let's do a quick look at the charts. I know it sounds like some people could get some good information out of them. We bring charts in here. There we go. All right, so we're going to be coming in on the Asimov 3 Alpha arrival. Across the top are some, I call it gee whiz, but it's stuff we need to know that's expected. We need radar vectoring or instructions follow to the waypoints. It's a pretty straightforward approach. We're going to go Asimov to PR 635 over to Akulu. Basically staying above 4,000 feet, except for Asimov above 11. All right. Then we're going to join the RNIP. Now, this is kind of similar in nature to an ILS, only that difference being we don't tune a frequency in. We fly fixes. So we're going to come into Akulu. PR 541, PR 542. 543 is right at the end of the runway. Okay. 4,000, 3,000. It's a stair-step descent unless we have got the localizer glide path indications on our PFD. If we do, and we can get the approach mode to take it, then we can come down with it. Otherwise, we stair-step it down. At PR 542, we got to be at 3,000 feet. 3-degree glide slope will take us, our speed will probably be about, well, what was it? Hang on a second. 144, so let's call it 140, 743 feet a minute. In that ballpark, we'll be descending on a 3-degree glide slope. Okay. Also, I wish a lot of U.S. charts would get a hold of this. It has recommended altitudes from 8 right on down to 1 mile out to also kind of gauge if you're descending at the right level. Hang on a second. All right, the wife was back. Sorry about that. So that's what we're looking at. Let's for our arrival, and then like I said, if we're lucky, we'll make Fox 1, otherwise Golf Echo 5 back to the ramp. Wherever they tell us to go is where we'll end up. And we are looking at an ATIS RNIP approach in use 3.5 transition level 5,000. Very important you keep up on that in the European area, because they change country to country, even airport to airport within a country can change. So kind of pay attention to that, because trust me, those controllers, if they're up, will. Oh, they got on my case for switching too early. And, oh, well, I got back on it. So 260 at 3 variable, and KVOC, we know the rest. All right. And then let me pull up my chart. So once we're on the ground, do 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 do. I have a clue where they're gonna park us if what they got planned, because I really don't know where they're gonna park us. All right, we were 30 miles, 35, 37 miles out from top of descent. Now you can see it on the nav display right here. And what I'm going to do is set 4,000 for our descent here shortly and get us going. But let's go through the checks here real quick. Okay, any ice? Okay, we're through that. Cruise, there we go. ATIS, we just checked. METAR, we can do that. I hit the wrong button. Wonder if it'll give us an ATIS now. Look at that. It basically triggers when VATSIM is up in the area. Okay. So that's what I've kind of learned. So there's our ATIS we could have brought up. We would, as a flight crew, do that. And we'd work from it. So we're going to plan 1018. Let's make sure we planned that. Oops. I think that is the conversion. Yeah. Okay, so we did convert it right. Cool. So we got that lined out. METAR we've done. McDo performance set. Decision altitude and MDA. We're going with the decision altitude of 305. Star is set in here. Landing, elevation, auto, top of descent monitor. About 20 mile out. All right, let's go ahead, enter. I said, well, let's go to 4,000. Now with constraints, what it'll do is when we get up to Asimov, it'll say plus 11, 0, plus 4 as we work our way in. Remember, transition level is 5,000. Okay, whoop, not 3,000, 4,000. And we're ready to begin descent here shortly. Auto brakes will be low. And we've done the approach brief. Still just a tower is all we have. For now, I'm going to go ahead and set it. Oh, what was it? 118.005. All right, so we're ready for that. Unless approach comes back up. They were up earlier. We'll see. And we're ready to start thinking about bringing this bird down. I'm going to go ahead, start the descent. And by the way, no speed restrictions. Might be seeing some of the coast. Might be. Keyword might. Think we're still a little too far out. Once we get to Asmov, we might actually be seeing it. Okay, we are starting our full out descent, so seatbelts on. I have never tried a shared flight in X-Plane. I didn't even know if it's possible. I guess with something like, oh, we have a thing with Mac Air we use, but I've never tried a shared flight there, Jared.dev. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, it's a plug-in. Okay. I may have to look into that. I did a shared flight in FSX once. Now I know I can hear y'all going, oh my gosh, that's a long time. I was actually bored in it um, as the pilot not flying. So I think that's why I've just never really pursued because I like to be the one pushing the buttons and the throttles and the sticks. Um, but I'm always up to try it again. I'm just trying to get CP, or is it CPDLC or ACARS, whatever it's called here in Toliss, to connect up with a controller one day again. And I had a really good hookup, but it was just going to be a short time over in Rome airspace. He was really helping a lot in what I needed to do and on what I needed for the next flight, because I had made a couple of errors, and I just would love to get on with one and get it all set up again right and try again. I had somebody with one of the virtual airlines say he was going to help me out, but that's as far as it went, he said. Was in the area he told me to be, and yeah, he never showed up and helped. That's okay. Like I said, we'll latch on here and give it our best here shortly. I have yet to retire from any specific career field I've been, but I'm getting close to retirement age. I'm at 60. But no, I didn't retire out of the military, out of trucking, out of anything. Um, yeah, my own doggone fault. All right, so we're coming up on 18,000. However, we're in Europe. We do not change to the transition level till 5,000. Yeah, I was actually unemployed for a year earlier, ended earlier this year, and I streamed a lot um, to help with the job search and all. It's just not fun when you upper 50s, 60-year-old trying to get a job. I get it because most employers are looking to get more than 4 or 5 years out of someone, but they don't realize the reliability of my generation. Now, for those curious, the next stream, trying to think. We're going to be on the ground probably and done by around 2. My time, by the way. Um, Let me just see what's going on here. All right, with that much business, I most likely would want to do this offline if I did a second flight. Hmm. I lost the other RZO that was headed our way. I don't see him out there. Okay, we're definitely going to be above 11,000. Then we're going to drop down to 4 by the next two fixes on the nav display. Trying to find where. Looks kind of like just before a Kulu. All right. Let's see what we got now. Landing lights on. As we begin to slow, don't know why I moved the radar up a notch. It's not like we're gonna see any weather. Oh, okay, we're within 10 minutes of landing. Be a good time if you're into it to set a prediction, exclamation mark the word predict, put a space in there and a negative number. Positive number will work if so long as nobody else has put predictions in. All right, let's get landing system on. There we go. We'll see if we get any indications. I'm going to drop to 20. I didn't even think to look ahead. How busy is it? Are you kidding me? They went offline? No. Maybe. I don't show a tower. But I show a tower. Well, we'll continue in. Hey, coastline. How about that? Yeah, I'm not showing anything here. Well, we're going to have instruments for the approach. All right, let me get my chart up again. 3,000 at PR542, PR543, calling PR541. Weren't those the days? Skip flaps one out, arm the spoilers. All right, here we go, 1018. Yep, they went offline. All right, well, we do not have controllers. Gonna go ahead, lock us in on an approach. As we make the turn, we're gonna slow to 160 at least. All right, distance out 15 miles. $145. Yep, 145. Okay. All right, we're on localizer. Well, RNIP localizer coming up on the glide path as we slow. Gears coming down. Flaps out to 3. And full. Well, we don't have tower or anybody, so we don't have to switch over. We're not in CTAF territory. Transition level meet. Approach phase is already on. Speed's good. Flaps set. LS set, approach mode on, lights on, and gears down. 3 green, lock, brake set, spoilers armed, we're cleared to land. Porto traffic, Azores 99, about a 9-mile final, 3.5. Okay, and final approach fix is 8 miles out, I believe. And Porto traffic, Azores 99, final approach fix, PR 542, 8,000 inbound runway 35 on the RNIP. Don't see the runway yet. Trying to see what I might see coastline wise. Okay, I saw it in that view. I'm going to go ahead and put the sunglasses on. All right, got the runway in sight. Again, same thing we said on takeoff. Be careful with this plane. On landings, you can see tail strike is a little easier than on your A320, A319 frames. And Porto traffic, Azores 99, 3-mile final, 3.5. Okay. Okay, lined up, landing. Little high.
Above.
Landing stable.
300. Minimum. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
And Porto traffic, Azores 99 off at Gulf to the terminal. Okay, not a bad landing, I don't think. All right, let me finish up the after landing. Let's get the radars off. Okay, APUs available. That's cool. How'd we do on the brakes? I heated them because I was trying to make Fox 1, realized I couldn't. So the brake band came on and we'll just taxi in with it running. Hey, I hope y'all enjoyed this. This was fun. I didn't save my chart. Doggone it, I thought I did. Oh, no, not that. That one. By the way, I talked about it earlier. Yeah, I came off on this taxiway. Trying to beat an aircraft, it was kind of poorly turned in behind me. And that or was fighters. I can't remember. Anyway, I took it. Hit controller goes, by the way, that's a closed taxiway. Don't use it. I didn't know Fox 1 was right ahead of me. All right. AI traffic on airports will always crack me up. All right, so that was the first one. We'll keep going down. What is this? Sierra 6 or Sierra is my guess. And we'll take Sierra 3 to the gates. I think we'll go to like Sierra 31. All right, looking for 31. There it is. I think that might be the same one we went into before. All right, we're in. Radars are off. Turn off lights. Brake fans are on chrono. We can stop. Click. And we can turn to fuel. Yes. All right. Let's get those chocks under the plane real quick. And parking brake off. All right. Reason for that, that way the brakes can cool more. It looks like they're fine. We're going to check them real quick. Yeah, they look fine, but this will help them to final cool. All right, that'll get the brigade coming out. All right, welcome in. Parking, nose wheel, brake fan, engine master, beacon light, cockboard unlocked, seatbelts off, no smoking, and fuel pumps all off. Click. Got them. Okay, we can also tell them, go ahead, throw the emergency external power on. Okay, there we go. Welcome to Portugal. Nice shot of a setting sun. All right, welcome in. Let's see how we did on this one. This one actually felt a lot better. Let me show you a little trick, though, real quick. Got to jump to a meeting. Hey, have a great day, Jared. Dev. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for tuning in. We sure appreciate you. Let's do a quick recap here. Real quick tip here to show folks, hey, when you get to an airport, if you don't have time to figure out where you have to go, or you don't have the charts readily available, and you got NavGraph charts, great, you can do it this way. See how I can zoom in on the airport and follow what they're telling me. Now, here's the tricky part. They're going to tell you taxi via Echo, Sierra. Now, they may or may not tell you to get on Sierra 5, but they'll tell you your gate. Realize these numbers are like runway exit numbers, especially in the US. We number a lot of the airports. By the way, not all of them, and I think one across the river doesn't, from where I live. They're sequentially off of a taxiway, say like Kilo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many intersections with the runway. They're kind of doing that here, although it's kind of confusing. But I'm thinking take Sierra 4. If you notice up here, Sierra 5, this might be 3. You get the drift. So be careful. Lisbon was really confusing to me at first because they gave me, you know, something like Kilo Whiskey Quebec. There were no taxiways by that, but they were Whiskey 1, 2, 5, 6. And so it got a little confusing till I got the grip of it. So just be prepared for that. And that could happen at other airports. But yeah, this is a real cool thing. By the way, hang on. Let me bring Sim Toolkit in. Yeah, you got a head start on what we landed at. 437. What? Filed. Let me see what Millennium got us at. Really? That felt like a pretty decent landing. Dang it. They got us at 420. Oh. Bummed, but hey, it's better than the 600 or 700 we did earlier. But anyway, so you're on your favorite tracking software, okay? You can do the same thing. So you can zoom down real quick and figure what you got to do. You can see how we went Golf, Echo, Sierra. Now, they might say 6 here. They might say 4 here and so forth, Sierra 3. But you get the drift. So you don't get thrown off guard like I did. That was the first time they really got me off guard. That was tough. So, but anyway, hey, while we're here, let's look at the one I usually go by. I thought that was a pretty decent landing myself. Doggone it. All right, let's view the details. 200 or 800-mile flight, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 5,800 kilograms of fuel, 1.4 Gs, 437 at 143. Not bad. Hey, at least, well, we were 10 feet off the center line. Okay, and 1,600 feet down. So not bad overall. I wish it was a little better, but you know, but that's why I like it. Look at all these numbers plus the visual. The visual alone helps out a lot. All right, so I need the next time. I was trying to, it was only a 5 knot, but I was compensating too much. So we'll work on that next time. We'll get this plane again. All right. Let's do our final check with Elevatech. Okay, let's complete this flight. And by the way, yes, you can do it here. Matter of fact, I will give a kudo to Elevatech. Was working, if you've all followed the American Airlines that I've been doing, MD-11 flights, flew from Dallas to San Antonio and back, had a very difficult time finding a gate capable of the MD-11 where images show heavy aircraft parking for American. I found that if you go to Elevatech, you see how the parking spots are kind of shown here? Well, at Dallas, they're very prominent. You can figure out where a heavy can fit without having to slew it over to the other line. So kudos to Elevatech for that. All right. Speaking of which, we're down in here somewhere, this one or that one. All right, looking here, they got us probably at 443, 143. You see the general consensus. So it is what it is. All right, so we had a great flight here today, folks. We're going to go ahead, wrap it up. And I am just not comfortable starting another flight. So we're going to call it. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. We got a great verse up here I'll bring to you all here on Twitch. You see it on the opening and closing posters for the streams. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. The hand of God is what we're talking about here. Your right hand will hold me fast. Jonah learned this the hard way. Captain Mike here has learned it the hard way as well. So just realize, no matter where you go or what you think you can outfox the Lord and hide, God's omnipresence will always find you and help guide you onto the right path. So just keep that in mind. Jonah found out about it years, many, many years after this psalm was written by King David. So hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And we'll be back at it for sure on Friday. Don't know yet what, but I hope y'all are there. God bless you all. We'll see you then.